Hi guys, just a quick update. I just had to scrap that. So I'm currently doing my face before I get to my hair and get changed, ready for bed, because it's around about 8:30 here. Got the brush on. So I'm just makeup brushes come in handy, you know, when I do my dad's hair and shave it. I use a blusher brush to get rid of all the loose hairs, and then it comes in handy to just dab my cream on my face. So I will be doing a comparison in a minute of the video, the live action to the animation to live action version of, and get this, Avatar the Last Airbender. It has got a lot of stick, but that is just because some people are purists. They prefer that things should stay the same. I get that, I really do. But what I don't like is them putting their hate and trying to get other people to hate it, and that doesn't sit right with me at all. I'm my own person. Right, so I will be back in a jiffy. I'm just going to get into my PJs, and then I will be back. Just quick. And there you go, I'm back. Sorry, my hair's gone a bit fast. So, what I'm going to do now, I've done my hair or face. Okay, so what is my take on the doing live action? I don't see a problem with it. Like, I get why people do this, and they have so much hate for the original, for the new versions, that they're not giving, they're not understanding. Now, if you don't know the story, Avatar the Last Airbender, it's basically about a boy named Aang who is an airbender. He's from the the air nomads. 100 years prior to the set of the TV shows. Both versions, I can see where he meets Katara and her brother Zuka, who are of the water tribe, and they're from the southern water tribe. And Katara is a young waterbender. So basically they go on this adventure to help Aang become the airbender, and I'm not doing season 3 because this is only for season 1. Now there are different takes on the series, both series, whereas you actually see the storm, the beginning, what happens. So basically the live action on episode 1 consists of 5 of the episodes from season 1 of the animation of season 1, episode 1, 2, 3, 9 and 12. So that is how they've done it. They've done it so that things that didn't go in, that went into the story, you know, adaptations need to work with the source material and the lore, and you don't know which part. I must admit some changes were debatable, and some people can agree to disagree. I don't know what the writers were thinking, but I can understand the first episode was fine. I got it, you know, but they don't like the changes. Some people don't like changes. I'm an optimist. I don't judge unless I can't, you know, some of the episodes, and get me this, I think a few of the episodes might be linked into season 3. So episode 1 was entitled Aang, but they kind of like pushed 5 episodes together from the animated series to make it make sense. And I love the story. I love how the fire lit to get the whole thing going. I love the action. That's why I like movies and TV shows. It has to have action and a consequence from that action. And you see the consequence of Aang's actions is the fire, the war. And tweak it to make it make sense. It actually worked. With the boy in the iceberg, the Avatar returns, the Southern Air Temple, the water bender scroll, and the storm. Now the storm goes back into like the story of how Aang went, the reason why Aang ran. He didn't want to be an airbender, and they tweaked it slightly to make it sense that he just wants to be a kid. Face it, he has the whole world at stake in his hands, and he didn't want to be an airbender, which makes the story flow. Which I can understand where they come from. They thought, oh, that would work if we put it in that episode to make it sense. Remember, these stories are for people who are for the new generation rather than animation, because face it, animation went like ages ago, and yeah, you do get that sort of animation, CGI sort of animal creatures and stuff like that. Now it works for the show. Streaming sites like season 1, episode 2 of the live action is named Warriors, and that has two episodes. So it starts off the Southern Air Temple and then the Warriors of Kyoshi. So it makes sense. They only added 1 episode and they made it make sense. And then obviously season 1, episode 3, which is a mashu, consists of 3 episodes from the animation, which is episode 5, episode 10 and episode 17. So that's the King of Amashu, Jet, and the Northern Air Temple. Makes sense, you know. They joined stories together, so they were side quests, but they added them to the story to make it feel safe. Now, obviously, you had in that sort of episode, you had the meeting of Jet. Still the same rogue, but he was trying to destroy the king's spies. That's what it is. He thought that there was spies in the kingdom, which there was in Amashu in the live action. It makes sense. Now, season 1, episode 4 of the live action is called Into the Dark. It consists of only 4, but 3 of them were from season 1, the animation. 1 of them was from season 2 of the animation of Avatar the Last Airbender. So the episodes are same 3 episodes from Amashu, and then added the Cave of Two Lovers scene. So they incorporated that into the cave, under the cave mountain, to get into Amashu secret prison, the palace. So the next, which I think is what people were getting annoyed about, especially when they changed the Aang and Katara sort of thing, storyline, to in the Cave of Two Lovers, to Katara and Sokka. So it's like family. Because that was like in season 1, bear in mind that Gordon Komiya was a minor. He was 12 and Gonatia was 15 at the time. It didn't make sense to have romance. Yes, there was hints of a crush. I will get to that point. That comes a bit later on. It comes to right to the very end, and people say, "Nah, there was no containment. There was breadcrumbs for the crushes and stuff like that." Next episode was season 1, episode 5, which is Spirited Away, which includes episode 7, The Spirit World, episode 8, Avatar Ruku, and episode 20, The Siege of the North. I've just watched that. Trust me, The Siege of the North, I could understand where they were coming from, because I felt needed action in the animation, and it just lacked. Yes, that's probably the episode people are really annoyed about, because it was all about Aang finding his way. But that came at episode 6. I liked the bit in Spirited Away. I will do a run-to-run episode guide of what I think each one was about and why they went that direction. But in the meantime, yeah, I wrote it all down. And I can understand where they came from. They wanted to use Avatar Ruku as a way of gaining the spirit, like making Aang think about himself for a change, and what his role of the Avatar is about. Episode 6 is Masks. I love the way they put Koi, the face stealer, into that episode. It was a vital episode, and I loved the way they twisted it so that Katara and Sokka both got transported into that. So yeah, I can see that has 6 episodes. That has completely added 6 episodes from the animation into that one episode, and that was like a big build up because it was multiple stories in one. You don't know if these stories took place in one day or like it's in a day. This episode is in the day, and Masks has episode 7, Spirit World, episode 8, Avatar Ruku, episode 12, The Storm, episode 13, The Blue Spirit, episode 15, Batu of the North, and episode 20, The Siege of the North. And the reason why I say it has episode 15 is because if you read the synopsis of the animation, it goes down and down, and you've got stuff about Zuko and Iroh. As I say, new to the fandom. And this is how I can talk to you guys. They changed it to flow with the story. You know, when you have a script, you have a script from the get-go, but then you can change a few things, and it could take 8 times for the script. Remember, it took 5 years from being greenlit for 2 years of creative of how it's going to work, and then the original creators both left due to like changes in they didn't agree, creative differences, and then they kind of like had a new writer and had to go onto a different platform. Now, writing shows for TV and then writing shows for streaming services are 2 different sort of entities. One, TV normally has few scripts. You're not going to be happy with the script, and it is mainly the script writing. So yet again, episode 6, Masks, the live action, season 1 is probably one of my favourite ones because you get to visit like Katara's fear, which was of her. If you haven't seen it, there is and Sokka's fears, and having Koi trying to attack people from those fears actually was a good storyline to go on, and then Aang having to try and work out for himself, and then have to rescue his friends in episode 7, which is like I like that. The Mask and Spirited Away are like two parts of. So Spirited Away, you've got taken, and obviously Aang gets taken. That's the same thing. That's what happens in Blue Spirit. Then season 1, episode 7 of the live action is called The North, and only consists of 1 episode, which is episode 18 of the series, which is the Waterbender Master. So they didn't really change things, and then obviously Legends has episode 19 and 20, which is episode 8, Siege of the North. It's the same sort of thing. They missed out on 4 episodes of season 1. They didn't, but some of them have come back into season 2, and I reckon possibly season 3. Some of it could be and some of it in season 2 were a mirage of what happened in between 2 years of from where episode 8 finished, like season 1 ends to season 2. That was probably because of the writers' strike, which doesn't help. It put a lot of programs, pulled them back. Same with Percy Jackson and Olympians. That's the same thing. So that is my rundown of season 1, and I'll tell you what, it had, minus the poor writing in some parts, it had action, it had characterizations. I tend to read between the lines, watch between the lines and each words. There is, it's when, now this is the part, the moment that you realise there's one line that gets used in both season 1 and season 2. Now, in episode 7, Aang, in the animation, Aang, Katara are talking, having a meal and stuff like that, and Aang goes, Katara, I am so glad that you got me out, you found me and you rescued and released me from the iceberg. It's the same line that gets moved into season 2. So just look at those lines, look at the words. Could it have done better? Writing wise, could have done a little bit of tweaking, but overall it is definitely an 8.5 out of 10. Saying 8.5 out of 10 for the whole season, purely because the writing could have been a lot better to allow the actors to perform the characters. I do like the actors. They are phenomenal, and people saying that their acting isn't good is just really poor, considering one of them is still a minor. You know, we don't judge people, we should never judge people. I respect that if you don't feel that it's living up to expectations. I would love to know your thoughts on what you would have done better. Now, I had someone who said that I can't read, I can't write. Well, if I can't read, how am I writing? And how am I good at spelling? Pass my English language. Come on. And I'm not dyslexic. It's like, you know, ridiculous. I don't judge people, and neither should some people. And I could go on and on and on, 23 minutes as it is. But please, when someone says they are watching something that really interests them, and they say, oh, you should only watch the animation, I'm like, no, I'm my own person, I can watch whatever I want, no one can tell me what I do. Otherwise, you're dictating what people do in their lives. It actually helps me, and it keeps me writing, which is good. And I will do another video after I've seen season 2, and I will talk to you about it. But overall, I think my favourite episode is got to be, I do like the way they interpreted the version of what happened at the Siege of the North. and I preferred that version. But yeah, overall, it's 8.5 out of 10. The live action is 8.5. The animation, I am going to say, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate, but it's not. Some of the episodes I can see why they took out and they didn't do, but they did move some of the key points. They need something to keep the story going. You know, it's like people saying they wanted to watch a word from word. It's an animation, it's not a copy. You wouldn't write a copy, well, some of you probably write a copy or copy and paste stuff on exams and stuff, and like papers and essays and stuff, and then find out that it's known as plagiarism, which is kind of like wrong, because don't do that. Don't copy something that you don't feel is right. And it turns out that I think the actual creators wanted to alter some stuff from the animation into live. So yeah, it would be nice to actually for someone to be able to interview the creators. Actually, I might actually message them and see and find out from themselves why they left and what they think of the final product. But one of them who's the writer, has already said that he liked the changes, and please don't go at the actors, because there wouldn't be a show without the script. The script is the most important thing of a TV show. So without a script, there wouldn't have been one. And trust me, if it was animation, it would take about 5 years for animation to arrive. And for that note, I am going to leave you on this. If you want a really good version of a book or a story, Lord of the Rings trilogy, first 3, right? Look it up and say the animation version of it. See what you think of that. Yes, I went Lord of the Rings style, and I'm going fantasy. So please be a bit careful in your wording, because maybe what you write could, like in your head, could be misinterpreted to something someone else reads it as. You know, you're saying that someone's choice in genre and TV shows is downright appalling because they like a show, one show, whole taste is gone. It's like saying Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings are rubbish. So my take on it is I will be talking about season 2 tomorrow. I will be back online. I've been a bit quiet lately as I've been posting, updating and doing what I did. And I'm going to sit and watch, probably have a break from the animations for a while, because I've already wrote down what episodes are in each, and otherwise I'll be here for an hour, and I don't want to be talking for an hour. But yeah, be safe, don't judge, and be kind. And remember, it's your choice what you want to watch, no one else's. So if you don't ask for other opinions, do the opinion yourself. And don't judge people for liking something that you don't like and saying that our tastes are rubbish, because they're not. So If you would like to follow me, you can on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, and it's all the same thing at Daughter of Poseidon 1290 or Christina L. Saunders, and you'll see this face. A lot of videos, a lot of reviews, my take on the Percy Jackson series, reviews on series, and I will be I'll probably change in a couple weeks time to talk about fantasy shows, Greek mythology, Asian mythology, you know, you really